Breaking news tonight, a proposed state budget is now heading to the governor, but hear from one lawmaker who voted against it.
A newly released report from state education leaders says Fayette County Public Schools are not doing enough to improve. What the superintendent says about that.
Investigators have released new details about the deaths of a Kentucky woman and a Tennessee man who were found in a hot tub at a Gatlinburg cabin.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening. Right now, police are trying to figure out what led up to a shooting in eastern Kentucky. At least one person is dead and multiple people may be injured.
That shooting happened just before 9 tonight near a pizza restaurant in the Hueysville community of Floyd County. Police have not released many details about the shooting, but we know the coroner is on the scene. We want you to keep checking WKYT.com and the WKYT News app for the very latest updates. Also breaking tonight, Kentucky lawmakers have given their final approval to a proposed state budget. The Senate unanimously passed it this afternoon.
But the House waited until a little more than an hour ago before passing it. Garrett Weimer has been in Frankfort all day. He's at the state capitol with the breaking details.
The budget compromise that took so long to forge is now headed to the governor's desk. It easily passed both chambers here on the last day of the legislative session.
And at this time, Mr. President, I move for final passage of House Bill 303 as modified by the Free Conference Committee report.
First, a unanimous 38-0 vote in the Senate.
House Bill 303 as amended by Free Conference Committee report is finally passed.
The budget puts nearly $1.3 billion back into the state's ailing pension systems and $125 million into a new pension permanent fund. Colleges and universities are cut by 4.5%.
Final passage of House Bill 303 as amended by the Free Conference Committee report. Is there discussion?
The House approved the budget 98-1. The member voting no criticized it on the floor before the vote.
It's a low-grade budget. It's going to get us by another 2 years. But in the long run, we're still disinvesting in this great Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Kentucky's Constitution says the 60-day session must end by April 15th. So if the governor vetoes any lines in the budget, it's too late for the General Assembly to try to override those vetoes. But Speaker Stumbo says that doesn't matter because even if they did have the time, they likely wouldn't have the number of votes needed to override those vetoes. At the Capitol, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And in a statement tonight, Governor Bevin said he is proud that the state is investing more in state pensions. He called it, quote, the right and necessary thing to do, end of quote. He said in the coming days he'll review the details of this final budget bill sent to him tonight. Also today, the House and Senate passed a bill that will allow the Urban County government to raise hotel tax rates here in Lexington by more than 2%. The money will help pay for a $250 million expansion of the Lexington Center. Governor Bevin has indicated he will sign the bill. Lawmakers also passed a bill that would change the state's driver's licenses so Kentuckians can meet federal requirements for boarding flights. The bill updates licenses so they'll comply with the Federal Re-ID Act. Anyone without one of the new driver's licenses by 2020 could not board a domestic flight. And lawmakers approved a proposal that would require Kentucky high school graduates who qualify for free community college tuition but end up with bad grades to pay back some of the money.
Well, what a difference a week makes. Last weekend, it felt like winter across the bluegrass.
But anything but winter now. Spring has sprung, and it looks like we'll have plenty of sunshine and warm temperatures this weekend. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell has the good news right now.
And it is good news. I mean, we're still at 60 degrees, and we're into the 11 o'clock hour now. And Lexington is at 60. But that's not even that impressive. Look at Richmond, still at 64. Or how about parts of eastern Kentucky? Jackson, Prestonsburg, 66 and 65 degrees, or even Moorhead at 68. So the warmth is certainly out there. Normal daytime high here in Lexington for this time of year, 65 degrees. And we're at 60 at night. So there you go. We look and see on our Defender Radar Network, which I've thrown in the cloud cover with. You can see all of it thinning out. A nice, quiet night throughout the entire area, and that's the way it will continue as we go moving through the overnight. A little bit of a chill, not bad, around average for this time of year. Mostly clear, around 47 by the time we get to the early morning hours. Tomorrow, low to possibly mid-70s will start showing up for daytime highs. Looking like a really good Saturday and even warmer Sunday. But the focus of the forecast, it's a whole lot of spring showing up. I'll track all of the warmer temperatures because they get closer to 80 again as we go into the 7-day. I'll track all of it at 11:13.
Tonight, a newly released review from the Kentucky Department of Education is raising some concerns about Fayette County public schools. The diagnostic review claims the district office is not supporting schools as much as it should.
And Kentucky's education commissioner sent a scathing letter to Superintendent Manny Kalk. So how are Fayette County school leaders and parents of students responding to it? Monique Blair is at the live desk with more. Monique?
Well, Sam and Amber, this diagnostic review was ordered after previous audits showed issues at Bryan Station High School. Bryan Station is no longer considered priority status, but the review says the state has found there is an achievement gap in all grades district-wide. The review lists several examples of ways in which the district can improve, among those saying students need to be clearly informed of learning expectations, provided examples of high-quality work, receive feedback about their learning, and the district should develop a process to monitor and adjust curriculum based on students' performance.
I think testing at the beginning of the year to see where every single child is at, that way every child has a chance to improve and to succeed and to not fail.
The letter from the education commissioner states there is a, quote, vast disconnect between the district office and schools in terms of support required to ensure that all students' needs are being met.
They're probably not the ones going out and doing the job, so I can see a lot of that falling on them. Get out there and learn what's going on and sit in the classrooms, walk the schools, get on the buses, and let's see what's going on.
In a statement, Superintendent Manny Kalk said he was not surprised by the findings and, quote, once I release my superintendent's plan next month, we will begin implementing the needed changes with deliberate urgency. Now, the letter from the education commissioner says he is confident that Superintendent Kalk will use the findings to take the district to the next level. The letter says another review will be conducted 1 year from now, and in the meantime, a monitoring system must be created to ensure the district is implementing the district improvement plan. At the live desk, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. As part of this review, 46 classrooms were observed. The superintendent, some school board members, administrators, and parents were all interviewed. You can read the entire results from the diagnostic review on our website at WKYT.com. We learned some more details today about the case against a teenager accused of killing another teen in Mercer County. Police say they found 17-year-old Tristan Cole shot to death in a field Wednesday night. They've charged a juvenile with murder and robbery. Police have not released his name, but they said he had a detention hearing this morning, which is similar to an arraignment. He's now at a juvenile detention center in Hardin County. While the case is being handled in juvenile court right now, it could be transferred to circuit court. Police in eastern Kentucky have arrested a man wanted for a double murder in Florida. State police say they found 48-year-old Michael Anthony Harold in Hazard this morning. Police say he killed 76-year-old John Engelhardt and his 73-year-old wife Nancy earlier this week in Dover, Florida, near Tampa. They say when they arrested Harold, he was driving the couple's car. State police say they received a tip that Harold could be in Perry County last night. Troopers spotted the car this morning and stopped him.
The fact that troopers were out trying to locate this subject and happened upon him, were able to locate him so quickly, that's just something that doesn't happen all that often.
Police say Harold worked as a handyman for the couple while he has lived in Florida recently. Police say he is originally from Perry County.
The attorney representing a former Lexington High School student who says he was harassed and threatened by a classmate over his race now says more former students have come forward with new claims. Attorney Amos Jones says that 3 former female students of the school say they reported being sexually harassed or assaulted while at the school. And the attorney claims they have evidence. So far, the school has not responded to these latest claims. The NAACP has called for Lexington Catholic High School leaders to resign.
We have some new information tonight about the deaths of a Kentucky woman and a Tennessee man in a Gatlinburg hot tub. According to preliminary autopsy results, investigators say Myra Smith Findle and John Levin could have died from a possible drowning. They say neither had significant trauma or injury. Investigators say Smith Findle had cardiovascular disease and both had enlarged hearts and fatty liver disease. The two were found dead last weekend in the hot tub of a Gatlinburg rental cabin. Smith Findle was from Corbin.
New tonight, leaders of Lexington's Jesse Clark Middle School sent letters home to parents about a suspicious man. School leaders say two students walking to a bus stop on Wyndham Hills Drive said they noticed a car stopped at an intersection with a ladder sticking out of the sunroof. The students say they then saw the driver throw candy out the window. He didn't say anything to the students or make eye contact with them. Police are investigating. Two deadly earthquakes rattling parts of Japan in the last 2 days. People there are worried more aftershocks could be on the way. The latest in 9 minutes.
And then after a deadly apartment fire last month, some people in a central Kentucky community hope the tragedy can help save other lives.
When severe storms roll in, we go to work to keep you and your family safe by calling a First Alert Severe Weather Day. Keeping you on top of the storms with continuous coverage on air, on WKYT.com, and wherever you are with our news and weather apps. Plus an experienced weather team ready to alert you when you need to get out of harm's way. Keeping you safe this severe weather season. That's what we stand for. First Alert Severe Weather Days, only on WKYT.
Dare to compare. This 6,000-watt generator is over $600 at Home Depot and only $399 at PRAS. Save $100 over Sears Grand Central on this Maytag washer, plus free gift cards up to $500.
Nobody beats PRAS.
Want to fill your garage with the best value brand in America that costs less than the competition? Honda's got it. During Honda's Dream Garage Sales Event, we designed 2016 Accords, the #1 selling sedan, just $199 a month. Or drive with 0 down, 0 security, and 0 first month's payment. Accords, available with Honda Lane Watch, Brake Assist, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and more. Just $199 a month or 0 due at signing. Honda's got it at your Central Kentucky Honda dealers.
Clients come into the office. The government has said, no, I don't believe you. You're not disabled.
The major problem with Social Security disability is that most people who sign up are denied at the initial level. If your claim's denied, don't give up. Call us immediately. We'll appeal your case.
We can do an effective job of representing you that will get you the benefits that you deserve.
Call Morgan, Collins, and Yeast, 1-800-55-WILDCAT.
See the all-new CertaPerfect Sleeper Hybrid Mattress and get the king for the price of a queen. Like this king set, just $12.99. Plus get a 3-day, 2-night Wyndham vacation free. And up to 5 years, 0 interest. Because
nobody beats PRAS.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on News Radio 630 WLAP. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Pretty quiet night out there and comfortable, as a lot of folks are running in either the upper 50s, some mid 50s, low 60s, mid 60s, and even some low 70s out there. We're all over the place with these spring temperatures tonight. Let's look to the outside as we are gazing back toward downtown, and you can see a little bit of traffic buzzing along Winchester Road and some along the interstates. Temperature here in Lexington right now coming in at 60 degrees with humidity naturally going up as we are into the nighttime hours here. Feels like temperature the same. That's what you run into this time of year. Headlines. We are talking about almost summer-like weather. It's like that today. And I'm just talking about the temperature alone because we're close to 80 for official highs today, and then we'll likely see it a couple more times. But overall, it's quiet weather, period. And the weather really wins at Keeneland this weekend. Unlike opening weekend, it's going to be a whole lot better for you out there as we likely track low to mid 70s tomorrow and then mid 70s definitely around here on your Sunday. So just a good run in the weather world here with a lot of sunshine. Other places of interest tonight still holding steady to some of the 50s and 60s. Let's just take a little bit of a tour. We look at Monticello. It's 51 already down there. Well, you go up the road to Somerset, 63. How about Richmond at 64? And then 66 in Jackson, close to 70 in Moorhead. So there you see why we're all over the place tonight. we're not going to stay all over the place weather-wise. It's a lock pattern. We're pretty much going to have what we have out there and what we had out there today because we got a frontal boundary that's just locked up. It's not going to be making any forward progression until we get into next week. So for the next 5 days, it's going to look a whole lot like this. We're going to have waves of energy riding along, bringing showers, thunderstorms to the plains, and that's as close as they get until next Wednesday evening, Wednesday night time period. That's when we'll be talking about some more rain. So leading up to that, it's quiet, and we are going to stay pretty stagnant. I was talking about this yesterday, just going to say pretty stagnant around here. It's 5 to 15 degrees above normal with sunny and dry conditions generally through that duration. Now, when you're that quiet and you're already into the spring season and we're getting into more of an issue with allergies and pollen forecast increasing, you can see that we're talking about it off the charts for those springtime allergy sufferers out there for Saturday, Sunday, and into your Monday. And you can see the predominant pollens here over the next several days. They're all going to be up. You've got oak, maple, and birch will all be up in the coming days. So watch out for that, especially if you suffer from any one of those. Here we go. Overnight, early tomorrow morning. Around average, 48 degrees to start the daytime hours. We get into tomorrow. You see those low 70s breaking out all over the place. I've got clouds turned on here. You just can't find very many of them because it's going to be a nice sunny day. And then we get into your Sunday, same old thing, right back into the low and mid 70s throughout the entire area. Great weekend ahead. 7-day forecast is pretty nice too. I mean, look at all of those 70s. We're in the 70s through the weekend, early next week, and finally, I can earn a paycheck again as we start tracking a little bit of rain. They put me on hold. They're like, this is too easy. We're not going to pay you anymore. So next week, we have to bring some rain back.
I don't know about you two, but I feel like a kid just waiting for recess tomorrow just to be able to get outside and do anything.
Yeah.
Or anything you can do. That's right.
We're kids at heart, aren't we?
All of us, always.
Cleanup crews warning people in a central Kentucky county after making some disturbing discoveries along the roads there. That's in 7 minutes.
I love Spain. This food, the wine, the tapas. I want to stay here forever.
Well, we're not in Spain. We're home.
I know, but this food is so delicious.
Then it's like a Spain-cation.
Head to Kroger for authentic recipes, specially imported foods, and delicious meal ideas at the Taste of Spain event.
Cook up fresh Perdue boneless chicken breasts for just $1.99 a pound. And sweet red, yellow, or orange bell peppers are now 10 for $10 at Kroger.
It was a routine call, a code 7 at a local laundromat. What we saw, well, nothing can prepare you for it. We went in, we approached the victim. He was dying of boredom. Agents of play, sir. We got there just in time. We handed him a scratch-off ticket and watched him play.
Thank you.
Have fun. I'm serious. His smile, well, that's the only thanks we needed. It's what being an agent of play is all about.
Put a little play in your day, week, month, or year with these exciting new scratch-offs from the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education.
I'm a policeman with the Versailles Police Department, trying to help someone across the street. Car hit me, and then I had 3 surgeries. They said I had to be 100% in order to return to work, but I wasn't, so I had to retire. I couldn't ask for better help than I did get from Becker Law. A friend of mine called me a couple of months ago, and she needed an attorney, and I said, well, call Becker Law offices.
Call the Becker Law office. Just dial 3s.
Hello, I'm Rob Bromley, inviting WKYT TV viewers on the vacation of your dreams, a land and cruise tour of Alaska, August 5th to the 18th. We'll stay near Denali National Park and watch for wildlife on a guided park tour. Our vacation includes Anchorage, Fairbanks, the White Pass and Yukon Train, and a 4-night Holland America cruise through Glacier Bay and the Inside Passage. For more information, call Holiday Vacations, 1-800-826-2266.
Now, during our Off to the Races sale, call us here at America's Window for high-performance Energy Star approved windows that will give your home an energy upgrade. And take advantage of our Off to the Races sale. Save up to 20% on new windows. Ask about 0 down and 0 interest options for 12 months. Act now and receive a $500 discount certificate good towards your next purchase. Pick up the phone and call during our Off to the Races sale.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
New tonight, Japan is assessing the damage from 2 earthquakes that happened a little more than 24 hours apart.
Authorities say at least 15 people were killed and more aftershocks are possible. Danielle Nottingham has the latest.
Japanese rescue crews made their way into this home looking for survivors of a magnitude 7 earthquake. Papers, office supplies, and even computers shook and toppled over when the quake occurred around 1:30 Saturday morning. Guests in this hotel had a rude awakening, and several aftershocks followed. This man was rescued from the rubble before dawn. The quake triggered a landslide, cracking and crumbling roads and bridges and sliding homes off their foundations. Part of this curved roadway fell down the hillside, leaving one car on the edge. The force buckled the pillars of this apartment building, crushing cars parked beneath it. A smaller deadly earthquake hit this same region on Thursday. That 6.2 magnitude quake knocked down buildings and collapsed homes. Scientists say the smaller quake was actually a foreshock and triggered the larger one.
About 5 to 10% of the time, the earthquake that's triggered gets bigger than the first one, and then we change the name and call the first one a foreshock, and that big aftershock becomes the main shock.
Scientists say there is still a 50% chance of at least a magnitude 6 aftershock hitting the same area of Japan in the next few days. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News.
Scientists say there's still a 50% chance an aftershock of at least a magnitude 6 hits the same area of Japan in the coming days. New tonight, investigators say a tiger killed a zookeeper at a Florida zoo. It happened this afternoon at the Palm Beach Zoo. Investigators say 38-year-old Stacy Conweiser was attacked in a Malayan tiger's enclosure. They're still trying to figure out what led to the attack. They say the 13-year-old male tiger was tranquilized. Zoo leaders say guests were not at risk.
New tonight, a Central Kentucky community is hoping a tragic loss can help save other lives. 3 people died last month in a fire at a Winchester apartment building. Tomorrow, the Winchester Fire Department is teaming up with the Kentucky Farm Bureau to give out free smoke detectors. You can sign up for one at the Farm Bureau's Ag Safety Day.
We just thought this would be a good thing to add to the Safety Day. You know, if we give out 250 smoke detectors, it saves one life. We've done our job.
The Ag Safety Day will be held from 10 until 2 tomorrow at Rural King on Bypass Road in Winchester.
Today marks the 3rd anniversary of the deadly Boston Marathon bombings. 3 people died and more than 200 were injured in the 2013 attack. This afternoon, victims' families laid wreaths at the spots where the pressure cooker bombs exploded. And a citywide moment of silence was observed. More than 30,000 people are expected to take part in this year's Boston Marathon, which is Monday.
Tonight, Bath County road cleanup crews say they're concerned because they're finding more needles. They say in the last few weeks they've come across more than 100 needles along Bath County roads while picking up trash, and they're worried someone could get hurt.
We pick up 3 to 4 every day, but yesterday was just exceptional. We picked up 31 yesterday.
Cleanup crews say they're also finding more trash along the roads. In the first year of the cleanup program, they say they picked up 4,000 bags of trash, but they think that number could be 10,000 this year.
Kentucky's blue-white game is tomorrow.
Spring practice concludes Saturday. Matt Elam on why he thinks the Cats defense will be better. And a pair of future Wildcats really shining tonight in the Jordan Brand Classic. Highlights and post-game comments are next.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 98.1 The Bull.
Lexington Overstock Warehouse is open this weekend for our spring cleaning warehouse sale. Get quality furniture and mattresses at incredibly low prices. Queen bed $297, sofa $397. Go to LexingtonOverstockWarehouse.com for more details.
On Tuesday, I buried my dentures under 23 tons of cement. And I really freaked out because I needed my mouth for a very important event. So I called Aspen Dental, got in right away, and they made my new choppers in just a few days. And thanks to that service, I'm happy to say I ate the most hot dogs in history today.
With dentures starting at just $3.99 and ready in days, not weeks. Dentistry's never been easier. Call 1-800-ASPEN Dental.
Considering bankruptcy? Call Atkinson, Sims & Kermode. Start your bankruptcy for only $78 now. Dial 859. Call ASK for your free consultation.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. Like WKYT on Facebook.
Saturday's Powerball jackpot is $205 million.
It's early, and you need a breakfast built for work days, not weekdays. Say good morning to the $3 breakfast with the chicken and gravy breakfast burrito from your DQ. Our famous chicken strip plus eggs, cheese, and pepper gravy wrapped up in a warm flour tortilla, served with crispy hash browns and coffee, all for just $3. Now this is a breakfast built for work days. The chicken and gravy breakfast burrito, just one of our delicious $3 breakfasts, only at your DQ. This is fan food, not fast food.
Race into Logan's for your winning outfit and save during Logan's huge Derby sale. Our entire stock of over 2,000 name brand suits and sport coats are now reduced with savings up to 60%. Now through Derby Day, save 25% on all Allen Edmonds shoes. Our entire stock of Southern Tide sportswear is now 20% off. Hundreds of Famous Maker ties are now at least 50% off. And Logan's has Central Kentucky's finest selection of sportswear from Vineyard Vines and Peter Millar. Find your winning outfit on sale now at Logan's and the Tates Creek Center.
Wouldn't it be great to know what your car payment will be before you visit the dealership?
Thanks to Your Deal, Your Way, now available exclusively at paulmillermazda.com, you can pick your payments and negotiate the best price for your new Mazda.
This is the easy, convenient, and private way to get your deal your way.
Visit paulmillermazda.com to get the deal you love online.
Your deal, your way.
Points, click, save. paulmillermazda.com.
Don't let dust and allergies get between you and life's beautiful moments. With Flonase Allergy Relief, they won't. When we breathe in allergens, our bodies react by overproducing 6 key inflammatory substances that cause our symptoms. Most allergy pills only control one substance. Flonase controls 6, and 6 is greater than 1. Flonase outperforms the #1 non-drowsy allergy pill, so you can seize those moments wherever you find them. Flonase 6 is greater than 1 changes everything.
A big part of the future of Kentucky basketball on display tonight in the Jordan Brand Classic at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And it did not take Bam Adebayo long to get going. He gets out on the break for the slam for the East. Future UK point guard De'Aaron Fox dribbling in, knocks down the short jumper. He had a big night. He had 23. Everybody wondering where Marquise Bolden is going. He said in a pregame interview he's still undecided, but time getting short. Miles Bridges the pass to Malik Monk. Monk finished with 22 on the evening. He knocks down the long three-pointer from out top. And we go into the second half. One more slam for Bam. And the East goes on to win it, 131-117. Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox are co-MVPs.
I was just trying to get to the lane. Then my teammates spread the floor real well just to get me open, and I was able to knock down some shots.
Coach Cal told me that he nicknamed me the General because all the recruits that committed after me said they wanted to go to war with me. And I mean, that's a great compliment coming from my peers and guys that are on top of the world just like me.
In Louisville tonight, Derby Festival Classic Freedom Hall. Brad Calipari knocks down 3 3-pointers. Yes, he did. Cal's son, 3 of 6 from the floor. His East team won it. The final was 144-132.
I mean, it's just an honor to be able to play here. You know, this is Louisville's old gym, so it's just a great experience all around. It felt a little weird at first just because the atmosphere, you know, bigger gym. But after I got going, I mean, it felt better. I was a little tired from all the traveling, but, you know, I thought I did all right.
Next season, the UK U of L game will apparently be played during the week. This first reported by the Courier. Both Christmas Day and New Year's Day fall on Sunday. Now, the Courier has obtained a copy of the contract, and the arch rivals will meet for the first time in 10 years before Christmas, either Tuesday, December 20, or Wednesday, December 21st. Tomorrow, Kentucky fans can get a look at their team as the Cats will take the Commonwealth Stadium field for the blue-white game. Mark Stoops said yesterday his squad has had its best spring in 4 years. The players, like Matt Elam, believe this team will be improved. Elam understands, though, it may take some convincing.
I don't know. I guess you don't have to believe me. I just come out and watch, I guess, just because I know we're working, you know what I mean? I just know we're out there every day working harder and harder just to get better. It's just not like the other years, you know what I mean? We worked then, but, you know, we just know that we need to do more. We got guys gone. People are stepping out. They know that they need to fill their holes. It's just expectations. They're just going to have to come out and see because I know the fans are like, oh, this is just another year. I mean, a lot of people think like that, but, I mean, you can't judge a book by its cover, I guess. Just come out, so.
Kickoff will be at noon on the SEC Network and Sunday on the CW Lexington Kentucky Football 2016, the Blue-White game. Spring practice, recap, interviews with the coaches and players as they get ready for the upcoming fall. Kentucky baseball on the road to Vanderbilt to open up a 3-game series tonight. The Commodores get on the board first. 2 outs in the third. Jaron Kendall goes to the left center field gap. Storm Wilson can't get it off the wall. Kendall will race all the way around with an RBI stand-up triple. Stay that way until the 7th. UK with the infield in. Connor Kaiser, base hit in the hole. A run scores, and Kentucky is shut out tonight. 3-0, Vandy wins it. SEC softball this evening, UK and Missouri. Huge first inning for Kentucky. Tied 1-1. Abby Cheek crushes her 7th of the year, a 3-run blast, 4-1 Cats. Later in the first, Brooklyn Hines is the batter. She jumps on the first pitch, and this one is gone, 5-1 Cats. Still in the first, freshman catcher Jenny Schaefer does the exact same thing. First pitch swinging, another line drive home run, 6-run first inning, 3 homers in the opening frame. In the second, Abby Cheek does it yet again. This off the top of the scoreboard. Kentucky needed them all to beat Missouri tonight. The final was 7-6. Cardinals bomb Cincinnati 14-3. We'll be right back.
It's an all-systems-go weekend at Green's Toyota of Lexington during their 48-hour sales explosion. This weekend only, 0% financing on 10 different new Toyota models, including new 2016 Camry, Corolla, RAV4, and RAV4 Hybrid, with up to $2,000 in customer cash available on select models. And save up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Toyotas with our Green Saver coupon. Hurry in to Kentucky's #1 Toyota dealer, Green's Toyota.
Great people, great cars, think Green's.
I'm Rob Bromley, inviting WKYT TV viewers on the vacation of your dreams, a land and cruise tour of Alaska, August 5th to the 18th. We'll enjoy a guided tour of Denali National Park, visit Anchorage and Fairbanks, and travel on the White Pass and Yukon Route Railway. We'll also board the MS Golden Dam for a spectacular 4-night Holland America cruise. All airfare, hotels, and more are included. For a free brochure, call Holiday Vacations at 1-800-826-2266.
Thank you for this, Ariel.
The crayons made a big difference.
It may not seem like much to you,
but it means the world to us.
Kroger stores are increasing local community rewards donations to $3.6 million, and you can help decide where that money goes. Sign up at Kroger.com/community rewards and link your Plus card to the local group that matters most to you.
When we all join together, there's nothing we can't do. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
I'm Amy Henson. My husband and I founded Rock Bottom Soaps. We use goat milk to make soaps and lotions that help dry, irritated skin. We're members of Appalachian Proud, part of the Kentucky Proud program, which helps local families just like ours. Look for Kentucky Proud products available every day at Kroger.
Right now at Kroger, Ale 8 is 3 for $10 when you buy 3. And Kroger Sour Cream or Dip is 2 for $4. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
Some things are simply impossible to ignore. The strikingly designed Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid, the SUV that dares to go beyond utility. Lease the 2016 NX 200 Turbo for $349 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
Take the roar out of snore. Yet another innovation only at a Sleep Number store.
When big news breaks, be the first to know. Download the WKYT News app and turn on push alerts. Breaking news at your fingertips when you need to know what's going on. Get WKYT News and weather updates on Wild 1039.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than a minute away here on WKYT, and tonight's guests include presidential candidate Donald Trump and actress Eva Longoria.
All right, on tap for your Saturday, some beautiful weather.
Oh, it's going to be great out there. Even starting out tomorrow morning, we're around average at 47 degrees there at 8 o'clock. You go through the day, we end up in the low 70s, and then through the entire weekend, it's all about the 70s. And look at those emojis. They are very happy.
You're going to run out of shades.
Yeah, you're right.
Have a great weekend, everybody.